You made the bold decision to move from Belgium to China and become a full-time coach here. What inspired this big career shift?
I've always been looking for ways to grow, and at that time, I just didn't really see any real opportunities for me in Belgium. I felt kind of stuck, like I couldn't really move forward. So when the chance to come to China came up, I knew right away it was a big deal. I was 21, just starting my coaching career. And suddenly I had this opportunity to work full-time abroad. It felt like a huge step. And yeah, it was definitely a risk, but I knew I had to take it. I left everything behind to start a new life here. And I don't regret it.
How has being in China influenced your personal and professional growth as a coach?
Being here, thousands of miles away from what's been home my whole life, and doing it all on my own, honestly feels kind of spiritual. It's given me the space to fully focus on my goals, my personal growth, and the next steps in my career. And I think what's really inspiring is being in an environment where all of that can happen at once. It's just something I've never experienced before.
Could you give a little insight on your coaching style? Do you use any modern methods in your athletes' training?
My coaching style has definitely evolved a lot since I started working here. Of course, experience plays a big part in that, but being surrounded by Russian specialists has had a huge impact too. I've learned so much from them. They come from one of the strongest skating nations in the world, and that knowledge has been incredibly valuable. What helped me the most was learning more about athlete development, which honestly is something I feel is still a bit lacking back in Belgium. I've learned how to build strong, consistent athletes who are really able to deliver under pressure. As for modern methods, I think they're super important, especially with how fast the sport is evolving. I use basic video analysis in almost all of my sessions. And then in the evenings, I like to go deeper into certain jumps with some of my skaters. I also track performance a lot, especially in the lead up to competitions. I find it really helps fine-tune the last details, but overall, I usually think there are not necessarily new ways, because there are many smart people from the past and present as well who did all the work for us. And I think we just need to learn how to properly use and take advantage of that knowledge.
How do you balance traditional aspects of figure skating training with new methods and technology?
I've always been really inspired by modern ideas and approaches in figure skating too. But at the same time, I think there are certain traditional parts of the sport that should stay the way they are. So I would say my coaching style is a mix of both. I try to bring in new concepts where it makes sense, but I also respect the roots of the sport.
Can you share any success stories where tech-driven methods have made a significant impact on an athlete's progress?
It actually happens pretty often that through video analysis, I spot key issues in some of my skaters' jumps. And once we've looked at the footage together, It usually gives us something really specific to work on, whether it's a technical correction, a change in prep exercises, or even something in their physical conditioning. And when the skater, finally lands the jump or improves it, it's always a really rewarding moment for both of us.
What is your perspective on the future of figure skating? Where do you see the sport heading in the next 5 to 10 years? And how do you envision your role in that evolution?
I think we're definitely gonna see more and more quads. The sport keeps evolving. Coaching methods are improving, and coaches are getting, I think, a lot more detail focused. But what's exciting is that I think we'll also start seeing those squads in programs that are more complete artistically, more well-rounded overall, and I think that's really good for the sport. I also think we'll see smaller federations start to rise and produce stronger athletes. That's already starting to happen in Belgium, actually. And I really want to be part of that growth and help push it even further.
What does long-term success look like for your athletes, and how do you ensure they are prepared for the challenges that lie ahead?
For me, long-term success is about helping athletes perform consistently at a high level, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. I want to build skaters who are mentally strong and self-aware, who can handle pressure, failure, and success with kind of the same maturity. My goal isn't to just get them ready for competitions, but to help them peak at the right time in their career. That means building a strong technical base, but also working on things like resilience, adaptability, and self-trust, I think. And every athlete is different, so I always look at where they're now and where they want to go. So it's not just about teaching skills, it's also about teaching strategy, mindset, and how to deal with the highs and lows that of course come with the sport, whether they end up competing nationally or internationally. I just want them to feel like they've built something that truly lasts.
How does your decision to coach in China connect with your vision for being part of the future of the sport?
Like I said, I would really love to be part of Belgium's growth when it comes to developing athletes and helping them reach the top level. And I honestly think that everything I'm learning and experiencing here in China is going to help me do that. In a lot of ways, China has been the perfect place for me to test things out, improve my coaching, and really figure out what kind of coach I want to be.
What message would you give to other young coaches trying to find their path in the sport?
I think I would just tell them to stay curious and open. Coaching is a constant learning process, I think. You grow with every skater you work with, every challenge you face. Don't rush it, no need. And if anything, don't be afraid to take chances, even if things feel uncertain. That's usually where the real growth happens. At least it did with me. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that sometimes the path that scares you the most is the one that will make you unforgettable.